Hello everybody. I want to make a video. This is Jessica, and I'm here to talk to you guys about how to practice mindfulness in conversation. So, how mindfulness can help us in communication. How can it help improve communication? And I'll start by talking about what is mindfulness as applied to conversation. Number one, mindfulness is being present, slowing down, practicing active, empathetic listening. That is data intake. Data output, it's being responsible in our responding and avoiding responding impulsively, and especially when strong emotions are involved, which is very common in conversation, especially in relationships, which might be why you're looking up videos like this. How can you apply this practice in real life conversation? It's easy to say, be mindful in conversations, but I'm making this video to talk to you about how you can apply mindfulness, what steps you can take to actually apply mindfulness. So number one, I mentioned it before, be present. Practice deep breathing. Get into a comfortable body position. Have enough time for the conversation to take place. Don't have an important conversation in a rush. Number two, be present. Be open-hearted about your listening. Listen in an active, empathetic, open-hearted manner. Allow the other person to say what they have to say. Slow down, be present, be calm, Allow them to say what they have to say. Give them space to say what they have to say and time to express what they are trying to say. And in turn, if you're the person delivering the information, give the other person space and time to absorb what you are saying, Don't get defensive immediately. Don't get defensive immediately. Give them time to say what they have to say and to hear what you have to say. In real life application, this translates to holding your emotions. This is the difficult part. Defensiveness arises. You have to be willing to be present in that discomfort. You have to be willing to be present with your emotions, which may be very uncomfortable, and you have to be willing to hold in your gut responses initially. This creates a situation, which is what I mean by slow down. This is literally what I mean by slow down. This is the difficult part. This is where most conversations and most relationships, for that matter, subsequently crumble from the inability to do this, from the inability to be present, slow down, hear what the other person has to say, and allow the other person to hear what you have to say when you're delivering information. So, I'm going to tell you why being mindful in conversation matters and how you can do it. How you can identify the root cause of the conflict in your communication, and how this will allow you to identify the breakdown on your side of communication. We can't control other people. We cannot control other people, but we can work on being aware of how we respond, what we're saying, what we're doing, and how we can alter that in a positive way. There's always room for growth in this life. And if you can become aware of where the breakdown on your side of the communication is, you can in turn become proactive about becoming more mindful and effective in regards to communication. Why is it important to bring mindfulness to communication? And what most often happens if we don't? Well, emotions bubble up within us, which causes us to throw up our defenses. When we throw up our defenses, it fogs our clarity. When our mental clarity and emotional clarity is fogged, it decreases our ability to effectively listen and respond. Again, we're going back to the fact that conversations, communications are all about data input and data output. That's what communication is, all kinds of listening and responding, including words, body language, tone of voice, inflection, basically data in and data out. And the problem is with humans, unlike computers, this data in and data out is very complicated by emotions and past experiences. Emotions in response to what is being heard or said in the moment, as well as emotions from past experiences. These things cause us to throw up defenses very commonly. And so being mindful, being present, and slowing down and identifying when this is happening assists us to be more cognizant, be in more control of what we are saying and how we are responding. So in communication, these defenses often manifest as habitual responses. So I'm going to talk about how these habitual responses can dictate our communication on a data input and data output. On data input, habitual responses and emotional memories and emotional responses can basically put a filter on what we hear. What we hear the other person is saying can be tainted by past emotions or scars, in a sense, that we have habitually heard things a certain way. What I mean is, for instance, if your ex or your mother or your father has told you that you're lazy and you are not enough, then you very easily may hear what people are telling you in that light, when that's not what they're saying. You can easily put a filter on what you are being told based off of scars and emotions from the past. Okay? That makes you hear what's being said incorrectly or take it the wrong way. This is another place where you can practice empathetic listening. Listen to the person that's speaking to you as if it was your daughter telling you she was hurt, or your mother talking to you about her life, your best friend talking to you about a certain experience. Empathetic listening. Give the person who's speaking the time of day. Try to slow down and give them credit. Have it be about them when they're speaking to you, not immediately about you. In terms of data output, the way we throw up defenses and have these habitual responses complicate communication tends to happen if we're not mindful and calm in our responding. We're not delivering information from a calm place, from a place free of our defenses and our habitual responses, and that leads to a breakdown in communication. So, how in the world do we put this into action? How to practice communication? In summary, number 1, be present, slow down, practice active, that means be present, empathetic listening, give them space to say what they have to say. This means that you have to be willing to feel the emotions that you're going to feel in response to what that person is saying, and also possibly emotions that bubble up from things that have happened or been said in the past by that person or by someone else. You have to be willing to be in those emotions, to feel that discomfort without responding from your gut. I'm not saying don't trust your gut response, but I'm not saying alter your gut response, but hold on to it. Don't rush into defensiveness. Feel that discomfort without throwing up your walls of defense. When you throw up your walls of defense, it fogs your clarity and it decreases your ability to effectively hear what is being said and say what you have to say. So on the data intake, you might not hear what's being said clearly. If people tell you things like you're taking it the wrong way and that's not what they meant, you may have an issue at this point. This may be the root cause of the breakdown of your communication. This can help you resolve relationship issues. If you can identify the root cause of your communication breakdown, you can help yourself on this front. On data output, you might not clearly express what you're saying. If you are being defensive, your clarity is being fogged and you may not be able to express what you're saying. So one last tip I want to add is that if you and somebody else in communication have breakdown often, you feel like you're speaking two different languages, you're butting heads, try to write down what you mean. Tell the person, I'm going to write down what I want to say because I'm not saying it clearly and I want to say it clearly. Write it down, give it to them, have them read it, give them time and space to write down their response, and then you read it. If you guys are willing to do this, this is a very strong and effective tool that can help heal relationships or help prevent the breakdown of relationships. The breakdown of communication is very commonly the detriment of a relationship. So these are the tips I have to say about communication. Like this video, subscribe to my page, and give me some love because I sure love you guys. Bye.